Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Chapter 24. We continue as we see Mari looking confused as she says, "By Ki, you mean Oda-san?" Now we see Oda making a YouTube video. She introduces herself and says that today she'll show them some cosmetics that are very popular these days. She acts cutesy and winks at the camera and says, "Expect my selfie edit course at the end of the video too, because her pics are very edited too." She laughs as she says this and makes self-deprecating jokes. Mari sees this video on a laptop and gets shocked. As Mari is shocked, she asks Oda if she became a YouTuber. Oda smugly says, "Interesting, ain't it? And quite popular too." Oda sits on the bed and proudly says that she thought it was a chance because she had time to spare during summer vacations. She was being flamed very hard on the internet, but when she started speaking about this one controversial topic, it had ridiculous good reception. Hearing this makes Mari say that she's determined. The MC intervenes and tells her that's enough about controversies and tells her to stop barging in the infirmary, please. Hearing this pisses Oda off as she screams and says, "Shut up, shitty four eyes. Deal with it, idiot." As Oda is still pissed, she asks them if they need something from her. Mari nervously tells her that it seems like Tsubaki made her parents resign from their company. Oda goes silent after hearing this. Oda suddenly bursts out laughing. As she's crying from laughter, she says, "Really? That's very funny. Tsubaki-chan went that far? No. From now on, I'll call her Shitbaki." She calms down and tells them that it's pitiful, and she can't do anything about it. She's not friends with Shitbaki anymore. The MC speaks and tells her that there is one thing she can do, and it's something that no one but her can do. He asks her if she can contact Tsubaki. Hearing this leaves her dumbfounded. Oda gets irritated and asks him why her and he should just ask Momo. If it's Shitbaki's contact number, then she should know it. The MC pulls up Oda's chemistry paper in which she got a 0. Seeing this worries her. She starts crying like a kid as she gets her phone out to text Shitbaki and tells him that she'll do it. She tells him to not get cocky, cause she'll expose his power abuse in a video someday. We see Oda send Tsubaki a message with a wink emoji, asking her if she can come to the special guidance room after school. As she looks annoyed, she tells them that she sent the message, but it'll be ignored anyway. Seeing this confuses Mari. She asks Oda if she hasn't blocked Tsubaki even though they aren't friends anymore. On the other side, we see that Tsubaki has received Oda's message. She looks at the message and giggles to herself. Seeing her giggle to herself creeps out Momo. She tells her, "Why are you laughing, Tsubaki? Was the shock of me telling you you're crazy that big? Well, but giving that check was just..." Before she can finish, Tsubaki calls Momo and tells her that Momo works while she's a high school student and asks her if she's done something that she didn't want to do. Hearing this confuses Momo. Momo proudly puts her hand on her chest and tells Tsubaki that Momo's way is, "Don't do things you don't want to." Tsubaki smiles and says, "A happy one." She tells Momo that she doesn't get the reason why Jimmy isn't resigning. She calls out to Momo again and asks, "Since it's been a long time, why don't you come with me after school? I'll show the happy you some interesting things." Now back to Oda and the others. We see Oda saying that the message shows that Tsubaki has read it. Mari looks concerned as she asks her if this means that Tsubaki is coming. Oda looks annoyed as she replies and says that she won't, not a chance. Oda screams and says that Tsubaki's family and looks are shitty. What she's doing is no longer some little offense. She's already in the criminal category. Expecting mercy is a big mistake. As Oda is saying this, we see that Tsubaki is standing right behind her with a straight face. Oda notices her and suddenly freezes. Oda quickly changes up and tries to act chummy with her and tells her that she didn't say anything. Seeing her change up so quickly makes Tsubaki say that Oda is a big liar as always. Oda starts shitting bricks as she tells her that she said those things because she didn't expect her to actually come. Tsubaki replies and tells her that if it was just her, she wouldn't have come. She looks at the MC and asks, "Was it you who called for me, Jimmy-sensei?" He looks at her and tells her that she's doing things that are unlike her. From bullying teachers and students, even talking too much in front of him, intentionally appearing in front of Mari in the hospital, and instigating her. More importantly, checks are different from cash. It's like revealing herself as the culprit. For Nobuko's case, before he could finish, she tells him that she didn't do anything to Nobuko. He replies and says, "Is that so? It doesn't matter whether or not it's true." She gets surprised hearing him say this. She smiles and says, "Cruel as expected. I wonder who's truly cruel." He calls Tsubaki and says, even knowing that Oda was lying, you were trying to drop out of the group on purpose, weren't you? No, that was what you intended to do from the beginning. Maybe you became friends with Oda on purpose. Hearing this confuses Oda. She gets angry and screams. He continues and tells them that Momo is a model, and quite a popular one as well. And since she has many supporters, she's able to influence a lot of people and change their minds. However, if it wasn't because of Oda's guts, Tsubaki wouldn't be able to get along with him easily. Suddenly, Oda starts panicking as she screams and tells them to wait. She points at the MC and screams and says, "It's like I'm narrow-minded. Since I haven't wasted too much time, be more gentle." He hears this and stares at her blankly. He smiles and tells her that her mind is narrow for now, but they'll work hard with the teacher to gradually expand her head. Hearing him roast her makes Oda think that she's going to expose him in a video one day. He continues and tells them that it's strange for Oda, who's at odds with Tsubaki, to contact her, and it's even stranger for him to do so. Tsubaki was testing him with Oda, to test if he's aware of the truth. Hearing this confuses Mari of what this truth is. The MC calls Tsubaki and tells her that it's better for her to stop now, being a bad person that's being threatened by someone. Surely if the police had been involved, it would have been convenient for her. Once she gets caught, she can end it all. He calls her student number and her name as he asks her, "Who's tying you up?" Hearing this surprises Oda. She asks, "Being threatened? By who?" Then the reason why Tsubaki used acid on her was because someone told her to? Tsubaki immediately replies and tells, "No, that was my intention." Hearing this makes Oda get shocked and cry. Tsubaki smiles and says, "After all, Jimmy-sensei, I thought if it was sensei, he would understand." She continues and says that sensei and her are the same. She asks him if Takayama Kanoko is the one tying him up. No, to be exact, they should say that it's Kurosaki Kanoko. She tells him that he also has been tied up all along, even since those events from 10 years ago. In this hell-like world, lying over and over. She cheerfully smiles and says, "So let's do this again." The 10-year rewind. As Tsubaki says this, we see Momo tied up and unconscious in a dark place. Chapter 25. We continue as we see Tsubaki smile as she says, "What will the Tsubaki-san recreate?" The reenactment of what happened 10 years ago. Mari looks worried as she asks, "The reenactment of what happened 10 years ago?" Oda is confused, as well as she says, "What the heck is that?" Tsubaki smiles as she pulls out a tab and tells them that the girls are free to stay and see Jimmy-sensei's true self. They start seeing Momo through a live web camera. Momo wakes up as she's still tied and asks, "What's up with this?" And it's pitch black. She looks scared as she screams and asks, "Just where is she?" She turns around and screams for Tsubaki. She starts asking, "What in the world was in the drink you bought for me? Or rather, why's Momo tied up?" She looks angry and pissed as she asks Tsubaki if she's even thinking straight and that this is a crime. She tells Tsubaki to not think that she'll be forgiven for doing this to the super pretty Momo. As she is saying this, the lights turn on. As we see Momo sitting on her knees, still tied up, she sees a bunch of men. Seeing them confuses and scares her. Mari and Oda look at these events unfold and get scared and worried. Tsubaki looks at this and smiles, while the MC looks at this and gets shocked. Mari gets scared and screams for Momo, while Oda sounds very confused, as she asks, "What's this and why is Momo tied up, if this is a TV surprise?" On the other side, we see Momo looking scared as she asks the men in the room what's up with them. The men look at her and can't believe that it's Hananaka Momo. One says that she's the one from the TV, while the other disgustingly says that they've hit the jackpot. The disgusting men start saying that she's like a model, but she's petite, more than he thought she'd be. Another one says that she smells really good and laughs as he tries to touch her. Momo starts crying as she screams and tells him to not touch her. One of the guys tells her that they are getting paid to screw her, and this is the best. Hearing this shocks Momo. The other girls also hear this through the tab and get scared. Momo starts panicking and crying as she screams and asks, "That's a lie, right? To think that someone would do something like this because Momo is super pretty." She screams for Tsubaki and says, "You're seeing this from somewhere else, right?" As Tsubaki hears Momo's screams, she doesn't react. Everyone stands there in silence as Tsubaki says, "For real?" She smiles and asks the MC that 10 years ago, there was a similar incident at that private school, Juan Academy, wasn't there? The victim was a third-year student at the time, Kurosaki Yuriko. She was ostracized and bullied. She was violated and her classmates remained silent, as they were dolls. Hearing Tsubaki say violated confuses Mari. Tsubaki replies and says that to put it straight, it was a gang rape. Tsubaki continues and says that the school was afraid of the consequences, so they covered up the perpetrators. They tried to cover up the incident, and as a result, it hurt her deeply, and it drove her to suicide. She continues and says that if someone had helped her, maybe it would have ended differently. But the homeroom teacher who rushed to the scene only looked. On the contrary, he'd laugh along with the assailants out of fear. She calls the MC and asks him if he's going to let this end like last time. She says that the MC once failed to save Kurosaki Yuriko as a teacher. Hearing this shocks and scares Oda and Mari. Tsubaki smiles as she says that the school was blamed for her death. Before the public, both the perpetrators and the teacher had their social lives executed. She tells him that he's been taken down by society and he has no other choice in the matter. He clung to his job as a teacher, moving from one school to the next. The school manager, Kanoko Takayama, who is Yuriko Kurosaki's real sister. It became a classroom full of problem kids who'd reject any homeroom teacher. Tsubaki smugly smiles and tells him that he doesn't want to be a teacher and he doesn't deserve it. He's just a coward and a big liar who has a teacher-like face and acts like one. The MC sees Momo crying as she is getting harassed. Seeing her like this reminds him of the student from the past who he failed. He stands there as he recalls his past student begging him to help her, as he stood there and did nothing. As he's thinking this, Tsubaki tells him that there's nothing he can do to help Momo, and calls him a murderer as she sees Momo being forced. And this is how this chapter ends. Hope you all enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you,